why we got you on the tape.
Because Bart's going to take, I'll get another series. And I know Bart's family for a while.
Probably going to have to move that.
Yeah, I'll move it.
If they're coming up that way. Head first. Jeff. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she was, because I think that's sitting out on me. Sure, yeah. Do you have an extra stand to put it on?
Yeah, we got an extra stand right here.
If he was
Mary?
He's coming.
Over here.
Well,
Dan.
there's the,
Yes. I'll let you go.
here's the rabbi's going to face that way. And I'm over here. That's what Rabbi said, the lower but not covered.
You're zooming, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Bookatz, I have chairs here.
Yeah, I'll get them in through here.
You
He wants
want-
you to do the cutting.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
Jeff. Another row.
Gabe,
Put up another row chair.
they
Yeah.
can over there, right?
Yeah, we might as well. Yeah.
Gabe.
Yeah.
נפשי ישובב, ירחני במגבי צדק, למען שמו. גם כי אלך בקיצר מוות, לא ירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. תשענת בשם ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבט בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You've anointed oil over my head. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Because it is Chol HaMoed and we are in the midst of Sukkot, the custom is not to offer eulogies at a funeral, but we do offer divrei preda, words of farewell.
Child, she used to say Shema with me. That was a customary bedtime ritual. And when, by the end of the last year or so, I started to say Shema with her, the roles reversed. And she hated heroin. I said it with her in the hospital. I remember Shabbat and Thursday and Friday nights when she would prepare Shabbat and Yom Tov, and the smell of pastries and the smell of Shabbat food in the house. And when I was little, she used to make special doughs, yeast doughs. I always had a little piece of dough that she would give to me to make my own creations and help with the Shabbat preparations. And I remember the house being whole, the smell of the yeast dough and all that good, like a tom in the air, a special feeling. She made sure that every person's child, or every person from my brothers or me or my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they had every anything that they wanted to eat. Or she had fried chicken for some, and latkes and kugel for the others, and cholent. And of course the pastries, the makosh, diosh, cheese balish, kakosh, etc. Everyone had exactly what they wanted and what they needed. She was always a comfort to us. I don't remember her yelling at us really, but she must have at some point, but I have no memory of it. I just remember her as comforting, and if something went wrong, she was always there for us. I had told a story when I still am, but terrified of lightning, and my mother would come every time there was a lightning storm. She would come to my bed and stay with me until it was over. So, no child could cry, no child could be afraid. She was the ultimate comforter. And I want to thank Jeremy especially for the last 3 years doing such an amazing job of helping me care for her. He could not have been kinder and more respectful, and he really enriched her life. I cannot tell you. Yeah, he really made her care so much easier for me, and he really helped her. I want to thank also my Ron for his infinite patience and kindness and thoughtfulness and helpfulness through this whole process. And I just want to hope that my mother is resting in peace, and her neshama will have an aliyah. And I want to thank everyone for coming.
Irene Adler Wynbrandt. No matter what you called her, there was no doubt that she was loved by all. You always knew when you walked into her house that she would have something delicious waiting for you. The makosh, the latkes. She even used to peel the apples for me because she knew that's how I liked to eat them. She was always thinking of others. She used to call me in the evenings just to check in. I wish I had called her more. I always looked forward to those phone calls, and when I missed a call, the voicemails always brought a smile to my face. She used to end the voicemail just as she would a letter, a love buddy. I've saved many of those voicemails before she lost her words, and I'm so thankful I can still listen to her voice today. I interviewed her when I was in 7th grade, the same age that my daughter is now. I don't remember what the theme was, but I'd like to think it was my hero. I've listened to that cassette tape so many times over the last few weeks. She didn't like to talk about her past, but she did share a few stories, and one in particular was about my dad leaving home without telling her to go feed the cats with leftover chicken guts when he was 3 years old. They were still living in Budapest at the time. She told the story with so much love and laughter, and somehow found a way to put a positive spin on a difficult story. Imagine your 3-year-old is missing for several hours, but she laughed as she recalled the details. As an adult, thinking of everything that she went through, I am in awe of her life and the legacy that she built. My mind has not been able to accept that she is gone, but my heart knows that she is still here. From each person she has met, in her friends, in her family, and in her stories. Peter Pan used to say, never say goodbye, because goodbye means going away, and going away means forgetting. I will never forget you, but you are with us always, forever. this. I wrote this for Bobby's birthday this year. I thought it was appropriate to share now. Happy birthday, Bobby. In honor of your birthday, we thought we'd share some wonderful memories we hold dear from my childhood through Aiden and Hannah's. Spending Shabbos and holidays with you and the family, playing 20 rounds of rummy cube blocks, morning coffee, kickball, Disney and coloring books, and sponge cake. Thanksgiving dinners with family followed by Black Friday shopping at Macy's at 7 a.m. Driving with Jerry and the kids from New Jersey to Renford, being greeted at the door with decadent smell of frying latkes, trays of makosh, kakosh, and diash. Plates heaping with the best chopped liver ever and huge hugs. Care packages of every conceivable homemade dish from your freezer when we leave. Getting caught up on the excitement of our daily 1 to 4 p.m. soap opera stories. Long walks around the neighborhood, ending each night with a picture taken snuggling in your bed with all the girls and Jerry. Schlepping in North Carolina. Our yearly vacations, just you and me at the hotel on the beach, lounging on the sand, lots of shopping and eating heaps of ice cream. Feeding the ducks on the canal every morning with Hannah's hair in a kakosh tare. Aiden on your lap in his sleep robe while singing Ida, Ida, Ida on his fingers, giggling at midnight while Jerry and I go to the Katy Perry concert. Jerry said I had to mention your Charlton smoked turkey. Mine just never measures up. We love you and cherish all the time we're able to spend with you then and now. And we pray that one day soon our family can gather together in person. Ad mea v'esrim shana, till 120. She didn't quite make it to 120, but came pretty close. Bubby was all love, all the time, for her family, which was especially poignant in light of her childhood, and lack thereof. That love was clearly passed down to her family, who cared for her when she couldn't care for herself. First Gubby, Nikki, Harry, and Debbie, and then my mom, Dad, and most notably these past few years, my brother Jeremy, who has been her constant companion, anticipating her every need, making sure she felt loved, cared for, noticed, entertained, whenever he was in her presence. And I don't think it was a coincidence. Sorry, she passed on his birthday. We'll all miss you, and I can only hope one day I can follow in your footsteps.
And I'm Eva's husband. So I always used to wonder why, when you asked Bubby how she was doing, she would say she was schlepping. So I started to think about this, and then I realized that whenever we went there, so she was always schlepping food, because there was food on the ground level, and then there was a dining room upstairs, and she would go up and down and up and down and up and down, and feeding many, many people. And as Eva said, each person got just what he or she ordered, even if you didn't put in your formal order. So she thought about, what does this person like, what does that person like? And she prepared, and she prepared, and she prepared. And she slept, and she slept. And when everybody left, she had all the cleaning to do, and all the laundry to do. But you never heard any complaints about that. It was one of those welcomed works of love. So I also wanted to comment about two people, about Eva and Jeremy. So Eva was responsible for the last 3 years, and Bubby stayed at our house. So Eva was responsible for Bubby's care, in terms of changing the house, in terms of getting people to come in to assist Bubby, in terms of changing furniture, in terms of preparing special foods for her. And you never heard any complaints. It was always done out of love. And Jeremy managed to change Sol's schedule. And he would come to the house twice. Once at about 12 o'clock to provide food for Bubby, even though she had official caretakers. And would stay there until about 3:30. And then he would come back again at 8 o'clock when the official caretakers Bubby with a newspaper. And you figured out all sorts of ways to entertain Bubby. Walking around the dining room table, singing songs that I didn't really realize that he knew. And it was very impressive. I want to end it with one thing. So on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, you say, Rosh Hashanah Yikatev Yom Som Kippur Yechotem. On Rosh Hashanah, it's inscribed on Yom Kippur, it's sealed. It says, Mi Yachya Umi Yamut, who will live and who will die. Mi B'kitzo, Mi Lo B'kitzo, who will die in his or her time, and who will die not in his or her time. And it lists all of the ways that you can die not in your time, either by flood or by fire or strangulation, or you're attacked by animals. But Bubby lived b'kitzo. She lived in her time. She lived 90 years. And somebody told her in 1944, when she was in Auschwitz, you could live another 77 years and have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She would have jumped at the opportunity. So this is a sad time now, but in the course of a more global outlook, in a 90-year outlook, she lived a terrific life. And after a few days or a few months of mourning, of thinking of sadness, when you think about what she accomplished in her entire life, given all the struggles that she had, she lived a very good life and did what you're supposed to do as a person. I wish everybody would be comforted by her greatness.
During Sukkot, at the end of Birkat HaMazon, the prayer after meals, we say Harachaman Hu Yakim Lanu Et Sukkot David Hanofelet. May the merciful one raise up the fallen sukkah of David. With those words, we are asking God to bring redemption to the world. But they also remind us that a sukkah is a symbol for our capacity to rebuild. A sukkah can always be restored and filled once again with life, family, and joy. It is fitting then, in many ways, that Irene passed away just before Sukkot. A beloved daughter, sister, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. She is someone who, in the face of tragedy, rebuilt her life again and again. Irene was born in Hungary on the eve of World War II, the youngest of 4 children. At 13, she was sent to a concentration camp and spent most of the war in Auschwitz. You told me that she was keenly aware that her childhood had been stolen from her. With incredible strength, Irene survived the war and returned to her native town in Hungary. Here she found her older brother, Shimon, and married her husband, Abe. For the first time, Andre, sorry. For the first time, but not the last, Irene began to rebuild what had been torn down. They started a family. First Eva was born, and then Gabe. However, in 1956, Irene's life was uprooted once again by the Hungarian Revolution, and her family fled across the border to Austria before moving to Cleveland. In Cleveland, they rebuilt their lives again. Harry was born after they arrived in the U.S. Irene, you told me, was always outgoing, meticulous in her appearance. She warned her daughters-in-law not to mess up her hair. And quick to make friends. She had a regular card game and became active in Kol Israel. Yet it was family that was truly at the center of her life. She was protective of her children, and Eva, you recall that she was always there to comfort you when you were frightened. All vacations revolved around seeing family. Shabbat and the Hagim too also were important occasions when she gathered the family around her table. Irene deeply loved her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She enjoyed teaching them Hungarian games and putting their hair up in Hungarian styles. You shared with me that she particularly loved playing Rummy Cube, but somehow the rules always seem to change in her favor. Over the last 3 years, as Irene's health declined, the family that she built and presided over as a matriarch gathered around her. Children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren to care for her. May her commitment to family and the capacity to rebuild in the face of loss be an inspiration for us all. May her memory be a blessing. Because it is Chol HaMoed, we don't recite the Kelmale, the traditional memorial prayer. We will offer the Kelmale and Shloshim. Instead, we proceed now immediately to the interment. Before the vault is placed over the coffin, I'll put some shovelfuls of dirt underneath the vault, and then there'll be an opportunity beginning with the children for everyone to participate in this important mitzvah. This is something that we term a chesed shel emet, a true act of kindness. It's the act of taking part in burying a person and caring for them in their final moments, and at the moment when we get to say our final goodbye. This is, of course, an act that they can never repay.
Atzvatam achar ma'aru bal sickness kiyamitam. Uval estar shvotam al sefatayim. Adonai menat chalki v'chosi ata tomi korali. Chavalim naflu alai banimim. Av nachalat shafra alai. Avarechat Adonai asher yatzani. Av leilot yiseruni chilyotai. Shaviti Adonai lenegdi tamid. Ki mimini valemod. Lechein tzemach lebi v'yagal kavodi. Al pesari yishkon levetach. Ki lo tazov nafshi lishol. לא תיתן חסידך לראות שחר. תודיעני אור החיים, צובע שמחו לפניך, נעמוד במינך נצח.
Because it's during Sukkot, Shiva won't start until after Yom Tov is over. The first time that the mourners will be sitting for visitation will be Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. at Dave's home.
I'll make you sure. No sure.
This concludes the service. We will always carry Irene's legacy with us as we